Welcome to History for the Rest of Us. Lately, we've been bombarded with so many weird conspiracy theories that it's easy for many reasonable people to automatically dismiss any incredible news as fake. We certainly shouldn't believe every outlandish theory that we see on the news or social networks, even when a so-called credible celebrity posts it. Still, it's interesting to note that a few wild conspiracy theories in history turned out to be true, even though most folks didn't believe them at the time and don't know about them today. Who knows? Maybe all of the crazy, fake news theories get passed around as a distraction from the few real ones. Of course, that sounds like a conspiracy theory too. Take a few minutes to hear about a few conspiracy theories that sounded too crazy to be true. But actually they were true. Just keep in mind, this is for fun and entertainment and not to rile anybody up. Conspiracy Theory 1. A First Lady ran the U.S. government. President Woodrow Wilson suffered from a stroke, and the government believed they should keep this quiet in the interest of the country's well-being. Mrs. Wilson said she only acted as a steward for the executive branch. However, historians today say that Edith Wilson, the president's wife, ran the country for about a year, making executive decisions. Even though the United States has not elected a female president yet, a woman has already acted as one. Conspiracy Theory 2. The government poisoned booze during Prohibition. The government didn't poison all of the alcohol during Prohibition. However, manufacturers made industrial alcohol for various uses, which were not supposed to include using it as a beverage. The government pressured these manufacturers to add toxic ingredients to prevent moonshiners from trying to turn this type of alcohol into drinks they could sell on the black market. At that time, there were legitimate retail sales for certain alcoholic drinks, such as wine used in religious ceremonies. Moonshiners and private individuals also produced their own illegal spirits, which the government didn't manage to touch. Still, by the end of Prohibition, tainted booze had killed over 10,000 people. Conspiracy Theory 3. The rich and powerful met at an exclusive club to perform pagan rituals. A gentleman's club named the Bohemian Club owns a private campground in California named Bohemian Grove. Every summer, this campground hosts an all-male event for some of the world's most famous and powerful people. The tradition started in the late 1800s and survives today. Past attendees have included President Reagan, President Nixon, and J. Robert Oppenheimer. In fact, the site's credited as an initial meeting place to plan the Manhattan Project. The members enjoy entertainment, but it appears that Bohemian Grove mostly serves as a place to unwind and behave like rowdy college students. Conspiracy Theory 4. Government propaganda fuels worldwide conspiracy theories. This video talks about some historical conspiracy theories that turned out true. Reasonable people might wonder how all of the fake ones get started and spread in the first place. Throughout history, governments, businesses, and individuals have benefited by using these kinds of sinister stories to divert attention, create scapegoats, and even raise money. For instance, QAnon and the Russian government both say that the United States developed bioweapons in Ukraine. The United States did have biolabs in Ukraine, but they were actually to protect against biohazards and not to develop them. For whatever reason, many people take QAnon seriously, even when it claims the lizard people have infiltrated the government. We're not sure about the Russian stance on lizard people, but it's still easy to find plenty of parallels. Conspiracy Theory 5. Politicians and U.S. businessmen tried to install a fascist government before World War II. Sadly, this wild story about a plot by American businessmen and politicians to install fascism in the United States turned out true. Senator Prescott Bush, the father and grandfather of presidents, worked with wealthy executives from GM, Standard Oil, Goodyear, Chase Bank, and others to overthrow FDR. Luckily, the coup ran into some trouble when they tried to convince Marine Major General Smedley Butler to lead them. The general gathered evidence that he submitted to Congress, stopping the conspirators in their tracks. Surprisingly, nobody faced indictments, and everybody appeared satisfied to stop the coup and return to business as usual. Why do conspiracy theories seem so common today? It's fair to observe that conspiracy theories have engaged attention throughout most of history, including during ancient Rome and medieval times. However, these kinds of stories travel around much faster today because of global digital connections. Thus, almost anybody who visits websites and social networks may see published conspiracy theories. Of course, reasonable people know that they should verify the credibility of anybody who tells these stories and ask for evidence, but not everybody does that. Sometimes, people just want to believe in wild stories because it's entertaining, makes them look privy to secret knowledge, or shifts blame. Most of the time, if these theories sound too crazy to be true, they are completely fake. Once in a while, a wild-sounding story might have at least some truth to it. Even so, the truth is usually much less interesting than the creative spin that the theorists dreamt up.